Before I start, I know I normally don't do this, but I wanted to take a moment to fully thank everyone for your outpouring of support and well wishes for my family after making the previous video about us losing our beloved dog Jethro to lymphoma. We all thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal Hoaxes. Rick Dyer. I almost hate to even add this name to this list, but the information needs said. In 2008, two men from Georgia named Rick Dyer and Matthew Whitten made news for reportedly having the corpse of a Bigfoot. This claim was covered on almost every media outlet, including CNN. The story behind its discovery changed 3 times, with each tale becoming more fantastic. Things immediately took a turn for the worst when claimed cryptozoologist Tom Biscardi attached himself to the event and even stated he saw and touched the creature himself. If you are unaware, Mr. Biscardi is well known for making claims that ultimately prove untrue or outright hoaxed. In the paranormal world, anytime we see his name attached to anything, all validity is thrown out. As the story went on, it was soon exposed as a fraud, being a gorilla costume stuffed with roadkill and slaughterhouse intestines. Both men lost their jobs, but sadly, this isn't where the story ends. Rick took this idea and ran with it, even after coming clean that everything was a fake. Years later, he resurfaced as a self-proclaimed Bigfoot hunter as part of Team Echo, and in some media forums, he was seen as a Bigfoot expert. Rick claimed that the original Bigfoot he and Matt had found was real, but taken by the government, and had to present something via the gorilla suit to the media back in 2008. In 2014, he was claiming he had changed his ways and had another Bigfoot he named Hank to show everyone. Rick took the body on the road as an exhibit, charging adults $10 and children $5 just to look at the Bigfoot. Alas, people fell for this again, and he allegedly made over $500,000 with the show, and which was again later proved to be a hoax. Once again, he came clean and swears to not do this kind of stuff, but he still claims he has an actual body frozen in his house, but can't provide proof. He and Biscardi are detriments to the paranormal community, and any second of positive publicity they get takes the whole Bigfoot and paranormal community down a peg. Drop-a stones. These objects have shown up every time I research possible out-of-place artifacts, but every time they come down to being utterly false. As the story goes, they were found in 1938 by archaeologist Chu Pu Te in a tomb near the Tibet-China border. Along with these artifacts, they also found several corpses with strange shaped heads and stones with etchings on them. Claims state that a man named Sum Nu was able to translate the stones, and said that they told a tale of an extraterrestrial crashing to Earth and becoming stranded. What is even more fantastic is some of the writings could only be read via a microscope, and many museums housed the artifacts before they mysteriously disappeared. Case closed. Not really. First, the story mentions strange etched stones and alien bodies found in the tomb, but other than for story purposes, neither were removed for study. Second, neither archaeologist nor translator has any record of ever existing. Third, none of the museums that were said to have housed the objects at one point or another has any record of that. Lastly, the name Droppa is for the nomadic people known as Dropka from the Tibetan plateaus. Even any images I post showing these discs don't match the described dimensions or etchings. Falling Ghost. Ah, the Cooper family photo. I'm sure many of you have seen this image and thought, what in the world is that? As much as I like to look up scary ghost images, this is one that sadly can be forgotten. At this point, being that it is on this list, you know it's a hoax. As the story normally goes, in the 1950s, the Cooper family moved into their house in Texas, and on the first night they decided to take a picture of Mom, Grandma, and the kids at the dinner table. When developed, they saw the spooky image of a body hanging or falling from the ceiling. While this makes a great conversation piece, it is absolutely fake. While the photo appears to be a real 50s image, the story didn't make its rounds until 2013. After being studied, the photo shows signs of Photoshop with the uniform darkenings in each corner known as vignetting. Even the body itself isn't illuminated correctly by the main light. Some may say a ghost wouldn't follow that rule, but if you look closely, the zipper on the shirt still follows that rule, as well as gravity. All signs point to the photo being real, but as for the ghost, it was added later or was just victim to double exposure. Dragon in England. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one since it is kinda obvious. This video showed up in late 2013 and reportedly shows a real live dragon flying around. The story claims that it was filmed in Truro, England, and that it is about as much information as we have. A few things are wrong, obviously. While I have never seen a dragon, let alone one in flight, its movements look quite odd. The man recording the video sounds pretty American, but hey, it could have been a tourist recording it. According to what I found, and I am sure you'll correct me here if I'm wrong, dragons do play quite a role in this area. In particular, the red dragon is normally used to symbolize all things that are Welsh. There are multiple stories about dragons and their history, but what about this one? Well, according to what I found, it was apparently made or posted by a group known as Audio Color World, who are also known for making videos of CG UFOs, teleporting people, and in one particular case, images of a 3D CG dragon model. I'm not sure why this was put out there, but some have claimed it was part of viral marketing for the Bethesda game Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, which has many dragons in it. I have that game and I bought it day one when it was released in 2011, but I don't remember that marketing campaign. Not only that, but the game came out 2 years before this video surfaced. Hole to Hell. Here is a story that would scare the crap out of you at first, even if you don't personally believe in a physical hell, until you look at the facts. In this one, the story goes that in the 1990s, a geological team under the supervision of Dr. Azakov were sent to Siberia to drill holes in order to study plate tectonic movement. After drilling a while at 14 kilometers or 9 miles, this depth changes by story as well, the team noticed they hit an air pocket and that the temperature around the bit suddenly increased to over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,100 Celsius rounding up. It was at this point the crew decided to, inexplicably, lower a microphone down the hole. What they heard puzzled them, and after checking their equipment, found that they had recorded this. They claimed to have drilled into hell itself, and the screams of millions of people could be heard. Quite powerful stuff, huh? It would be if the whole thing hadn't been a hoax. First, let's see those pictures. Now I know some of my younger audiences may think that the 1990s was a long time ago, but it isn't. You couldn't take black and white photos at the time unless you purposely wanted to, or you were a photography buff who liked older looking images. Outside of this, the people in the photos, and Dr. Azakov, are dressed more reminiscent to the 1950s or earlier. While you can buy microphones today that can withstand incredible temperatures, the highest one I found went to 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now for that terrible sound. A YouTuber by the name of moscowjade did a great debunking for this, where the sound came from a horror movie by the name of Barren Blood, and here is the sounds together. In his comment section, I have seen people claiming the movie stole from the real event, but this story takes place in the 1990s and the movie was made in 1972. As for this story, its origins have been traced back to different religious groups purveying it as fact, with, as most tales go, different facts added in and others being left out. Syrian UFO. Okay, I put this at the end of the list, not as a number one slot, since I normally don't like to do the number game, but more as an afterthought. Honestly, I am torn on this one, since some things say it is fake, while others say it's real. Videos and images surfaced around 2013 claiming to show huge black UFOs terrorizing the people in Damascus, Syria. According to the story, the people of the area have been terrorized by these UFOs using highly advanced weaponry and looking unhuman. The reports further state that people were found severed in half or with limbs missing, all cut with laser precision. It is said everyone is quieted down by an unnamed agency that does everything possible from keeping the population from speaking out. They say the UFOs came in during the Syrian civil war and used that period to mask their destruction from the world, as everyone would assume it was casualties of war. Many sites reported this incident, and even my friends over at SecureTeam10 covered this story. Images were later produced showing that it appeared UFOs were photoshopped into the original images. Here's where I have a bit of an issue, and I'm a bit conflicted. I personally don't have any knowledge of how to check images myself for trickery, so I can't speak on that. What I do know is that images can be edited in as easily as they can be edited out. The government officially does this all the time with satellite images of areas that are classified. Heck, there are even those of us who believe some things shown on other planets are removed or edited out. I talked about this in my NASA What Are You Doing video, which I'll link to in the description. For our topic, some of the story makes sense while other evidence says otherwise. As usual, I normally like to end a video with something for you to decide on. So what do you think about this one? With that, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.